Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. It is the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio program. We're coming into the final 30 minutes on today's show. I'll be leaving right after the show pretty soon to head to Clarksville, Tennessee for the dedication of the Wade Bourne Nature Center in Clarksville, Tennessee. Good friend, the late Wade Bourne. It just seems 4 years ago, this December the 16th, that Wade passed away, touched so many lives over the years through his writings and on TV and everything else. So I will be heading to Clarksville. Ron Wong is at Ross Barnett down for the American Crappie Tail. And, of course, Bill Cooks is in Jackson. I don't know what you got scheduled today, Bill. What's going on with you on this Saturday?
Man, I am about to go out. They finally got beans out. I'm going out to hang some deer stands.
All right. Well, I will be working on that Monday. But let's talk a little fishing. We just talked to Austin Felix. He's the leading BASS Elite Series Rookie of the Year right now and second in Angler of the Year. So let's switch over to an organization that's making news, it seems like, every week. I know for a while there that our man Joe Opager, man, if he got paid by the inch, he'd be so rich. I guess that's why he's in the Keys right now, Ron Wong, because he's written so many press releases that the guy's fingers are down to nothing. So I said, I want to talk to somebody with Major League Fishing. He said, well, let's talk to John Acosta because he is the MLF VP of Marketing. And also he's got a little Memphis ties he was just telling us off the air. But good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. He was, and we can mention this, John, if you don't mind. I mean, you were here. I was there. Didn't have a chance to meet you when the Pyramid, the Bass Pro Shop at the Pyramid, and I'm not sure how long ago that was, but.
It had to be probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But prior to being at Major League Fishing, I was at Bass Pro Shops for over 12 years.
Yes.
And a thrill, one of the biggest thrills of my career was grand opening that beautiful Bass Pro Shops at the Pyramid store. Memphis has been historically an amazing market for the outdoors and for Bass Pro specifically. And to get a store of that magnitude was really fitting for a tremendous market like Memphis.
Well, I'm going to tell somebody next week we're going to announce the winners of our 3 for $500 contest. And we're going to have a hunting package. We're going to have a fishing package. We're going to have just a family package. And one of those hunting packages, Bill Cooksey, is a box of decoys. A box of decoys and a blind bag, courtesy of Bass Pro at the Pyramid. How about that, David Hagel? Thank you, David Hagel. We appreciate that. All right, John, let's talk now because so many things are happening, and Ron is and Bill are keeping up with this. Recently, late September, Major League Fishing announced that it's unification with the Fishing League worldwide. For those of us that didn't even know what FLW stood for a long time, other than Forrest Wood, is one brand. So now they're going back, transitioning all FLW brand assets to MLF. So talk a little bit about John from your perspective as the marketing man. What does this mean for Major League Fishing?
Sure. Again, thanks for having me on, and these are really great questions, and love the opportunity to talk about this a little bit more. When Major League Fishing expanded beyond just the Cups TV shows and with the launch of the Bass Pro Tour, that was a pretty disruptive event. And beyond that, we had to learn how to run a tour. And then, the subsequent season, we acquired FLW, which gave us the full infrastructure from top to bottom to create a pathway to the pros, to the highest level, which is the Bass Pro Tour, all the way down from high school and all the way through. And that was because of, the strength that FLW had in the grassroots. And so, it took us a year to kind of operate a status quo to understand how the cultures work, how the operations work, everything else. And at the same time, we were just getting our own footing, trying to figure out how the Bass Pro Tour works. So, ideally now we've got I'd say 2 seasons, but one and a half season under our belt, plus that. But, I think we have a good sense of who we are now. And part of that was trying to understand, as this industry consolidates, as tournament fishing consolidates, and I think we were a driver of that with the acquisition of FLW, what does that mean going forward? And I think that one of the things that we wanted to do more than anything else is try to simplify and eliminate as best we can consumer confusion and sponsor confusion and everything else. And we just knew that it would still create confusion in the marketplace running as MLF and FLW.
Yeah.
And FLW's rich, storied history and heritage was absolutely important to us, and these are decisions that we don't, take lightly. But I think at the end of the day, after much discernment and a lot of internal discussions going back and forth, we felt to achieve our goals that we want, and we have lofty goals for Major League Fishing, the best path forward was going to allow us to achieve that success was to leverage the strength of the Major League Fishing brand and really unify under that. And so it wasn't a decision that we took lightly, but there are other things that we're going to be introducing here in the not too distant future that are going to help us to retain and honor the heritage of FLW and that rich history. But then also we are absolutely excited and thrilled to have our organizations come under and unify under the MLF banner moving forward. And the best thing I can say to it is our friends in Benton, Kentucky, led by Kathy Fannell and Dave Washburn.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you the cultures could not be more complementary. They are just, it's really a perfect marriage, and we have been lockstep in sync ever since this was announced, before even the ink was dry or anything else, and starting to work strategically, and they've been tremendous partners. And as we go moving forward, we think that we are going to be stronger as one united organization, united under MLF. And so, like I said, I think it's important to help us achieve our goals as we move forward, but we also are not going to walk away from the history and the heritage. And you're going to see some things that are going to be introduced in 2021 that are really going to help honor that and make sure that we don't ever forget, that rich past where we came from.
Well, I know during my previous lifespan as the outdoor editor at the Memphis newspaper, one of the stories that I did write and break, and it was when Operation Bass was purchased by Irwin Jacobs in 1996, and I interviewed Mr. Jacobs at that time. His plate was pretty full, and started that heritage that came through when it became the Fishing League Worldwide in 2014. Then you guys have come along, and I know we've had Boyd on, we've had Gary on, we've had Kathy on this show many times. Ron will know this, and since that November of 2019, this has just been amazing what you guys have done, and simplification, folks. You can't. This is going to take some time, so we're not really going to find out everything, right, John, until probably early 2021, something like that. The website's going to have to be changed. You're going to have all these different kind of things bringing together, but at the same time, you're going to keep that tradition part of the team, but also kind of tighten everything.
Yeah. And I think that, Kathy had a great quote in the press release that talks about,
yes,
basically the only thing that's changing is the name, right? But this really comes down to the people. And I'm glad you brought up Operation Bass, because it really helps show there is precedent to this in the past, you know, and it just, I think you said it perfectly. It just takes time to get used to it. And I think what's been so just, interesting in all this, you spoke about it earlier, is we've got lots of news coming out. MLS has a lot of things happening. We've been quite disruptive in the industry with all of the things that we've introduced and everything else. And so as this thing settles, and I think you're going to start to see that in 21 and beyond, it's really going to start to come together. And I am extremely hopeful that in the not too distant future, in the coming years, this is going to feel very natural, and it's just going to feel like a logical progression of where these brands are going. And so, yes, you're going to see a lot of things in terms of how we position Major League Fishing for the long term that's going to be introduced in 2021, and we're really excited about that. And I think that, timing in life is everything, and one of the best things about that is, the marriage of MLF and FLW were one of complementary strengths, right? And
yes,
so between MLF and our media platforms and our anglers in the high end, plus what FLW brought together with all of the different grassroots levels. We have something for everyone now, and we think that it's going to be a defining strength for us moving forward. So we're tremendously excited, but again, it comes back down to the people and the cultures and how they align well, and I think that it's going to be very, very exciting. And I will say, this is the first off season where we haven't had something major happen, like launching the Bass Pro Tour or acquiring FLW. So, we're excited in our own end with our internal teams just to actually plan for the season and have enough lead time and runway to effectively do that. And I think that a lot of the changes and evolution that you're going to see of the MLS brand moving forward are very positive, very exciting, and I think it's something that our anglers at all levels within our ecosystem are going to benefit from and see right away.
Well,
lots to come.
And we're talking to John Acosta. He is the MLF VP of Marketing, and I was really impressed here, John, that you're I told this to my wife, who plays tennis once a week, that you're a tennis crazy family. You got 7 kids, buddy. You got that right for sure, and everything. So, and talking about this, and so folks, get ready for the MLF Big Five. Now that title is enough to think we're talking football, right, Cooksey? I mean, we're thinking the Big 12, the Big 10, the Big 8. What do we got here? Now we got the Big Five. So
that's going to be awesome, and it's going to be a lot of TV on it too.
Yeah, it is.
There'll be a lot of tournaments on TV.
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, that's part of it, isn't it, John? I mean,
it is, and so I'll give you kind of just a really quick background on the genesis of the Big Five. It kind of has a dual meaning. 5 is a very important number in tournament fishing. I think we can all agree to that. Best 5 or anything else, and I think that's what's predicated and what the FLW side of the house as it stands today before the end of 2020. That's what it's built on. But it also stands for we have 5 grassroots tournament leagues under that.
That's
and so it
okay.
kind of has this dual meaning. And then as we landed on Big 5, it also, big is an important word in fishing, right? And
yes.
Best 5, the Big 5 fish. And so we had all of these cool kind of corollaries all kind of lining up. And then beyond that, if you take a look at the Major League Fishing format and our catch, weigh, and immediate release, format, there's so many elements that I think it's what's helped us become broader, and we like to think has helped grow the sport in some way, because there's a lot of elements there that play off stick and ball sports that you're used to, right?
Yes.
Because we've got the score tracker, we've got, officials and other things. And so I think this idea of Big 5 made sense in so many ways because of its fishing-specific analogies that pertain to the Best 5 format as well as our 5 tournament levels. But then when you look at Big 5, you said it yourself. It sounds a lot like other sports that you're used to, right? College conferences, other things. And as we want to emulate and grow our sport to be spoken of in the same breath with all of those other sports and have a seat at that table, from America's mind share of sports, we've really felt that was a great strategic direction to go. And, we landed on that very fast, and it made so much sense right off the bat that, there were so many reasons to do it and so few reasons not to say Big 5. And so as we've gotten used to it and we looked at it, and then when we announced it, we were tremendously excited because I think that as we've broken off into 3 divisions, that being its own division classifier is a very important one, but I think you get right off the bat. And again, it's part of Major League Fishing. It doesn't stand alone. It's a division of ours, but we think it's going to be really exciting for everyone that fishes within the Big 5 levels in the future.
Well, come next week, we'll have the Big 500 here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Okay, we'll start calling it that. We'll go with the Big 500. We got just a couple of minutes. You guys just announced the 2021 Bass Pro Tour schedule. Folks, we got that posted on lroutdoors.com, all the new places. And John, quickly, I know you guys looked at that and really got some of the famous waters, but you threw in some new ones in there that I don't even know. I'm sure Ron Wong's been everywhere, but
I'm going to be at some of them, too.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're going back to Chickamauga. Of course, Ron always loves to go to Tulsa if the weather's right, and in February it'll probably be freezing.
Yes.
So Ron will handle that. But the schedule's set. That's pretty cool that you can do this already, have it laid down.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Like I said, we've got some storied bodies of water plus some new waters and everything else. And what's really fun about our format is that we can have events that are on multiple bodies of water, very similar to our Cups format within the Bass Pro Tour. So I think it creates a lot of excitement for consumers and our viewers, as well as just for the anglers themselves, and I think the real trick on that was, how do you get on all these bodies of water at the right time when the bite is on? And that's what we tried to do. And honestly, we had an awesome schedule built for 2020 that was in that exact same way. Yeah. And unfortunately, COVID and other things, shortened that. But I think as we move forward, it's going to be very exciting. I will tell you, there's quite a few highlights. I think the whole schedule, top to bottom, is stout. But I think some things that I think are going to be really interesting to watch. For me personally, that I'm excited about is Heavy Hitters event in Raleigh. Last time we went to Raleigh on 3 bodies of water, it was absolutely crazy, and I think that especially with the heavy hitters format and the amount of money that's going to be on the line for catching a big fish, I think amazing. You're going to see fireworks for sure. And then we're also excited to go to some waters that we haven't been to before on the tour, like Lake Travis and Austin. You know? And so I think as you look through it top to bottom, all of those fisheries have great stories, great history to them, and we're just excited to bring the tour and our format to those bodies of water and get to let those communities experience it.
It kind of blows my mind. I know Ron has kept up with this too. What's happened in such a short period of time since we had Boyd Ducking on for the first time, then Kathy Vanell, and you guys. I don't know what's coming out next, but folks, we got it all. LROutdoors.com has the new schedule, has all the information about the unification with the FLW. John Acosta, thank you, buddy, for being with us, and really appreciate the information. It was great information, and anytime you want to come on down here for breakfast, Ron Wong owes me a lunch, but I'm sure he will take a breakfast also for a certain football game that was played recently. I was waiting until you got on before I mentioned that, but come on down, and he'll probably bring Cooksey along too. I'm going to make it really pay for this meal and everything. So.
Guys, I will tell you, first of all, thanks for having me on. It would be my honor to take you to one of my favorite breakfast places on earth, right in your backyard, Brother Juniper's, and so let's bank on that.
I'm hungry right now. Thank you, John. We'll talk to you. Have a great day, okay?
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right, let's take a break. Ron's going to drop out and head on over to Ross Barnett. Bill, let's talk.
Well, before you turn us off,
all right, I ain't turning you off.
Tell everybody to tune into the live weigh-in for the American Crappie Trail here on Ross Barnett. Just go to the American Crappie Trail Facebook page, and we're going to be live beginning at 2:30 this afternoon.
There you go, Ron Wong, live at Ross Barnett. All right, let's take a break. Bill Cooksey, you hang on, okay?
I'll do it.
All right, let's talk. We'll be talking turkey here in just a minute. Let's take a break. Be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.